What got me started with Hip Hop for the Homeless is just seeing that there were some students that may be dealing with homelessness, and some students that may be dealing with the lack thereof of a household and a home. And it helped me break the archetype of what a true homeless person was.
Upon first glance, many people might not assume that Joey Batts is an educator at a high school, but they'd be wrong. In fact, he's been a recipient of the Connecticut-based Teacher of the Year award, twice. But he's also been a hip-hop musician for 2 decades, even winning a Connecticut Music Award for his work. Do your students know that you're an artist? Like, do you hide it? Do you tell them?
I used to try to hide it. I used to hide being a performer just because I was worried that it would be considered unprofessional, or they wouldn't take me seriously as a disciplinarian. But now, man, with phones, bro, and with the internet in your pocket, these kids will find you in a heartbeat. You got to protect your Facebook page. You got to protect your Twitter, your Instagram. So these kids, it's so, like, we'll be in the middle of, like, Macbeth. We'll be in the middle of, like, Paradise Lost or Lord of the Flies, and they'll be like, yo, mister, that was you rapping at Six Flags? And I'm just like, man, can we get back to the book, please?
In addition to his teaching and his music, Joey Batts makes headlines every holiday season by way of a charitable concert series he calls Hip Hop for the Homeless.
Every December, I do an event called Hip Hop for the Homeless, where we raise funds and we collect donations for homeless people in the appropriate cities that we tour in. In every city that we're in, we work with a different organization. So a different homeless shelter or a different charitable place for each city that we're in. So this year, we're doing 8 cities, and we're partnering with 8 different nonprofits.
This year is Hip Hop for the Homeless 5. I asked him what it was like when he first decided to start the event.
I remember the first year I showed up to one of the places with like an envelope full of cash, like $500, and they were just like, "This is awesome. How much money are you taking?" And I was just like, "Nothing. Like, this is all yours," you know? So they don't see that a lot. And a lot of times that they don't get people that so willingly want to help. And it's both sad because that's kind of where society has taken us, but it also it's just nice to see how surprised they are. The first year, it was only 1 or 2 shows, and then once I realized that I had the ability to add more shows and add more cities because of the relationship that I had with venue owners, it just kind of snowballed out of control. And then after the first year, people started to take it more seriously, and people started to wait for it and for it to happen. And now, at this point, I have anywhere from 40 to 60 artists that are willing to donate their time and their skills to assist us.
I was pretty impressed with what Joey Batts has been able to accomplish, but I wanted to hear more about how he got into hip-hop music in the first place.
I always like poetry. I always like rhyming. I always like reading. I always like writing. And the first time I really heard music that spoke to me, and lyrics that spoke to me, was a hip-hop album. Was like, Grave Diggers, Enter the 36 Chambers, Tribe Called Quest, and then like Biggie. So it was one of those things where it was just like, I knew that I wanted to express myself that way, and I knew I wanted to jump into ciphers and freestyle ciphers, and it was just something that I ended up, becoming pretty good at.
Connecticut Governor Dan Malloy only has about a month left in office, but his administration passed incentives to help the homeless population. 2 years ago, Connecticut became the second state to meet the federal government's definition of what it means to end chronic veteran homelessness. But Joey Batts said that there's still more to be done.
The data shows that the percentages of homelessness have gone down, that the percentage of at-risk people with lack of homes has decreased. But I think it's just glaring, man. I think it's such a glaring issue. The thing about it is, a lot of times the homeless people that we see, or the people who are dealing with being displaced, are the people that we see, on the corner. They have a little cardboard thing up, or they're begging for money. That's just like such a small percentage. Like there's invisible souls out there living in bandos, living in abandoned properties, not reporting that they're dealing with issues of homelessness, and that just go completely unreported and unregarded. So typically they're known as like the invisible population because they just slip through the system.
Joey Batts really wanted to emphasize the impact that individuals can have on other people's lives.
If I could give advice to the people at home, I think that, they got to try to really do their part. At the end of the day, when we're looking at our neighbors and when we're looking at the people around us, they're human beings. So at any given moment, no matter how down you are, like you have one more thing than the next person. You know what I mean? And like talking to you, talking to myself, like everybody has that one free t-shirt that they never wear. You know what I mean? You have that old coat or that old raincoat, like put it in the bag, come to a venue or find one of those big metal donation bins and just throw it in there. Because you'd be surprised how quickly we are to sometimes throw stuff out.
Toward the end of the interview, only one question remained.
Last question. Is there a HipHop for the Homeless 2019 in the works?
Oh man, dude, it's year 5. I can't believe we made it year 5. To be honest, I'm a real creative dude, so I'm always thinking about what the t-shirt will look like next year and what the color patterns will look like next year. I'll be doing hip hop for the homeless until I pass the torch to someone else. I think that as long as the support is there, and as long as hip hop wants to give back, and as long as my friends and my family in Connecticut want to help out, I'll be doing it till 2029. You know what I mean? So definitely always in the works, always.